Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well, and thank you for so much for coming to join me on this video. Tonight I want to talk about this topic that I want it to be as conservative as the way that I express the question as possible without pointing or perhaps driving anybody away. To make this more perhaps understandable for the American audience, people who are watching this, or the Western people, I have a background, I myself, I'm Iranian, if you will, and basically I grew up my teenage years in Iran. It was a society that was very family oriented. Relationships were only viable through marriage. That is a permanent way of a man and a woman that is coming together. Father, mother, if you will, siblings, there are big things in your life, and it was a responsibility and rather I would say a spiritual duty to try to attend to your community, that is to begin with your immediate family members and then the society. When I came to America, I saw a totally different picture. And one of the most relatable thing that came to my mind is that how people in this country, two things that I noticed, and I think, matter of fact, if you ask any foreigner who, as an immigrant or tourist even, steps into the US, they will tell you, with consensus that is, that Americans are very empty emotionally. And the second thing is that how is it in this society, kids, that is, men and women, young men and women, get to have sexual relationship from the very young age, that is perhaps 12, 13, 14. How could it be in such a large array, such a pervasive way, and seems like the society doesn't do anything to try to perhaps regulate that or change that or try to make it better. My understanding is that when you're at your teenage age, that is a very detrimental age, which it's a time that you grow the potentials that is inside you, whether it be the emotional, being your spiritual, and being your material and your savage side. We all have those elements into ourselves, for good or bad, and we have a choice to choose which way we want to go and which way we want to incline towards. And it seems like this is actually a very well intended way, because the way this works is that whichever of these forces you try to incline towards and try to actually because the way it works is that whichever of these ways you choose and you incline towards and you choose to reinforce those, that's the side that grows. And actually, as a result, your other side will actually diminish further. And sexuality, just like love, both are the needs of humans. We need to love, and we need to be loved back. We want to have sex, and wants to be basically satisfied sexually. However, the thing about it is that in this very detrimental age, instead of exposing people in this country, the youth, to love, they actually taken a different stand and trying to expose them to sexuality, which bypasses that stage and decreases your potential to actually, number one, being open and be able to actually take that in, and number two, being able to give that back to the society. And it could be anybody, your significant other, your family, and like I said, your society. This is something that I actually kind of find that in some sort of a child abuse, basically by bypassing this step and making sexuality such an available thing in a society, not only in the eyes of young boys and girls, make the other human as such an available, and thus reducing the value of that in person, they also don't learn that they need to achieve that person, not necessarily financially, but in terms of making that person love you, to give them kindness by treating them affectionately and compassion, and so forth. When they grow, likewise, this is the scenery that I see in America. Not only marriage has become something of a archaic thing, and people seem that it's something that belongs to a different time age, and we need to update ourselves and move on by a different means of trying to maintain that need. They can't even maintain those short-term relationships in terms of a concubine, if you will, boyfriend, girlfriend sort of thing. To give you an example, let's think of Native Americans. Well, before the British, the colonizers, and the American revolutionaries started decimating the native population of this North America, it was a common practice among the Native American men that if they were to become sexually involved with somebody, they had to wait till they reached the age that their hair grew gray, perhaps at the time that they were 50, 60 years old. It gives you a sense of attainment, growth, feeling of appreciation, feeling of now you know the worth of the society, the people, the humans around you. You have a complete grasp of it. You've been through the ups and downs. You know the values of everything. You know how to protect things by different means. We live in a society that pretty much in any aspect of your life, other than your personal life, that is, if you want to grow, say for example in your career, that is your job, and your financial side of your life, you have to prove yourself to be worthy. So you'll be basically entrusted to a higher rank, and you keep to move on in the ranks and within that organization that you are. Same thing applies if you're within a military organization. You have to prove yourself that you're able to move up the ladder. But in names of freedom, they have come and approached people and deceived them that, you know what, in personal life, you can be totally indifferent, ignorant, no concern or care for anybody, even yourself. That is, for your fellow family, your community, the people in general, being the way you dress, your sexual lifestyle, your love side of your life, any dimension that you want to think about it, they've come to tell you that, no, you know what, you have freedom, you are a free man, you should be able to do anything you want to do, you don't need to be concerned yourself with anything, and we actually support you in that direction. We love that. We think that's the way you should be living. How is this possible? How is it that in any other aspect of your life that contributes to perhaps, to wealth, material side, you're held accountable one way about to the most strict code. But in your personal life, you get to be such a loose person that doesn't need to do anything. I mean, I see people here, the way they dress, the way that they approach relationships, the way they perhaps treat the other people. So many times I've seen people, digging through trash cans, And I've seen people passing by like they've never seen anything. They never noticed anything. How could this be possible in any society in this world? And this is such a paradox, passing perhaps 1950s, 1960s, humans got into a new era of their civilization and evolution where everything became so available, from food, from need for safety. Seems like a perfect formula for the humans to maintain a better relationship, better lifestyle for themselves and in relation to other humans. But look at how it's come. Seems like everything was perfect for the most utopian marriages. It seems clear to me that approaching youngsters in this country from a young, very age and exposing them and bombarding them with all these different aspects of sexuality, like pornography, availability of sex, and so forth, and making it an okay thing, rather, and so many other venues. This is nothing but an intentional goal to try to make two aspects grow in this country. That is, people who solely think about their material side, and number two, about the military perhaps growth. When you don't have emotions. And that is what it totally makes sense how financially and military wise this country tops the world. Because to be a good soldier, you need to be as ruthless and unempathetic, empathetic as much as possible to your fellow humans. If a soldier really has feelings for their enemy and the man stands in front of them, would you be able to kill that man? No, and that's what the wars are. I know it's hard for the American audience to really think that way because they've never seen a war on their main land and they don't know how that feels. But this is the truth of it. And likewise with the material, that is the only aspect that's the other aspect that this country is so well to do. But in terms of maintaining relationships, bringing children to the world, that's the job of the foreigners and the immigrants who come to this country. And they're the ones who are filling the gap. The rest of the people in this country, the Americans, they're the lower class who are just engaged in their lives and feel fulfilled by substitution effect, quantify pleasure and substitute one for another. I really think that we need to bring these values back to us to have a utopian lifestyle, to have a better lifestyle in our society and make a leading example. We can be great in many other ways. We don't have to be just great in military and being a killing machine for the rest of the world, where everybody hates this country, or financially to try to finance those military apparatus. We can be a leading example in love, relationships, showing the world that we care, we are responsible, we're giving, we want to make a better impact in the society, not to just destruct it. I hope those days are soon and we all make an effort, as it takes the effort of every single one of us to make it better for